The NBA playoffs have started. We've got the rest of the round one series to preview and game ones in those series. Michael Bolton.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. As I said, the playoffs have started. I'm recording this one after the first two games are in the books. The Nuggets beat the Jazz and the Raptors comfortably beat the Nets. So happy with both of those results. And now we're looking at the rest of the round one series. We're looking at game ones in those from DFS, but also how I think those series are going to play out. So let's start talking about those series. And the first one of those is one that is going to be a 4-0 sweep. I'm pretty sure that's the Orlando Magic and the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's look at that one from tomorrow. The Bucks are 12-point favorites and the total is 225 points in this one. Aaron Gordon is still listed as questionable, while Markelle Fultz is going to be starting for the Magic. No surprise there. That's what we've been saying all along. Michael Carter-Williams also doubtful, while for Milwaukee, they've got a pretty clean bill of health. Now, I don't think that the Bucks are going to need to go full balls to the wall to beat the Magic, so we're not getting 37 minutes of Giannis and Chris Middleton. I think it'll be almost like a regular season rotation for Milwaukee, as opposed to a lot of the other rotations in these series. So you don't expect too much there. The Magic will have to go harder. It remains to be seen how much Gordon can play, how much they want to run Fultz with Augustin and Fournier coming back from his issues, but I think they'll get some pretty decent minutes. So let's look at point guard. We're looking at FanDuel pricing here. DJ Augustin's at 4,500. I don't have a huge amount of faith in that. Now, the Bucks have allowed big numbers from the point guard position for most of this season, so that's at least something worth looking at, but I'm not massively into him. Eric Bledsoe's at 58. I also would be a little bit cautious about using him, while Fultzy at 5,500. I feel much more comfortable in using Fultz than I do with Augustin or Bledsoe in this one. He's had some pretty decent games in the bubble when he started to ramp things up. And I think there's an opportunity here for Fultz to maybe have a 30-pointer. I think he'd probably be the point guard I look for in this one. Middleton's at 7,000. His last few games weren't great. 29 points over the last 5, but it's only 26 minutes. So that's the real key factor. He should be a 35 to 40-point guy here. They won't have to extend him to 36, 37 minutes because they don't need that to beat the Magic, but Middleton still looks to be a pretty good play at that price. Terry Ross at 5,400 is a GPP guy, while the big Ragu, Dante DiVincenzo, Wes Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Wes Iwundu, and Kyle Korver, I really can't get behind any of those guys. At small forward, it is the big fella, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He's at $11,000. Like Middleton, all of their recent averages have been pushed down because of the nature of the games that they've been playing in. But Giannis, back from his suspension, will be ready to go. He should be close to a 60-point guy, so he looks like a pretty good option. While Fournier is at 5,300, a solid cash option, while Jimmy Ennis playing that starting small forward role. Now, if Gordon's out, I like Ennis a little bit more at 4,000 and should be an okay cash play. In a situation where Aaron Gordon plays, I'm not as keen. At power forward, Gordo himself is at 6,600. Not bad, but absolutely not at the top of my list of guys that I'd want to use. And at center, Nikola Vucevic, 7,900. Like that. Centers have put up good numbers against the Bucks. Vooch is going to get lots of opportunities. I think he's like a 38 to 45 point guy here, and that looks to be value at 7,900. Brook Lopez at 5,800. I don't mind that for cash. I'm not sure his upside's really there because they're not going to push him for huge minutes, but I don't mind it as a cash option there for Brookie Lopez. If we look over on DraftKings, Augustin at 3,500 looks nice, as does Fultz at 42, Terry Ross at 45. Lopez at 47 on DraftKings is great, and Antetokounmpo at 10,500 is also in with a good shot, while Vooch at 8,800, much less desirable on DraftKings than he is over on FanDuel. The next game up for us to take a look at now is the other Eastern Conference game. It's the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. I've got this one going to Miami in 6 games in total. No Domantas Sabonis, still TJ Warren dealing with that foot issue. He's also got plantar fasciitis. He is questionable. Kendrick Nunn is going to be coming off the bench for Miami. No surprise there. I imagine Goran Dragic starts because Goran Dragic is significantly better. At point guard, Malcolm Brogdon's at 6,800. This is FanDuel again. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm not absolutely in love with it. Well, Aaron Holiday at 41 is not for me. I like the iron shoulder though. Goran Dragic, 5,700. That price point looks to be the right one to me. TJ McConnell, no thank you. And of course, Kendrick Nunn, also a no. Victor Oladipo's at 6,100. He played a whopping 37 minutes the last game for the Pacers with no one else playing. But the fact that he got that many minutes, now, he wasn't good in them, but the fact that he got those minutes is important. He had 32 points in that one. At 6,100, I do like considering him for a tournament guy, but the Miami defense might be a concern. Well, Jim Butler.
Because he's my butler.
He's at 7,800, Jimmy. I reckon 40 is absolutely on the cards for him. The Spur Dunk Robinson's at 4,300. Not super interested in that. Iguodala, no. And Tyler Hero with a fully healthy Heat team. I don't think that we want to use him. Jay Crowder is at 41 as a small forward. I think he starts. Now, whether he does anything in those minutes remains to be seen. I think there's very limited tournament upside in Crowder, but otherwise he can be a cash guy. While Tony Warren Jr. is at 7,500. Foot issue, Miami defense. He's been inconsistent despite that hot start. I don't think we want to use him. I think if Warren is out, Justin Holiday at 4,200 becomes at least somewhat of a play. At power forward, Big Bam Bam out of bio.
Bam! 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 Bam!
He's at 7,500. He's had really good games against the Pacers, 39-point average over the last 3. No reason for me that he can't be a 35-point guy here. I'd probably be a little bit under on him, but I still think that there is some use in using him here. And then at center, you've got Miles Turner at 6,700. Yes, the Bam matchup can be a tough one, or Miami can be a tough one, but I think Turner is good for 30. Is he good for 35? That's what I'm not sure about, so I wouldn't be putting all my eggs in that basket. While Kelly Olynyk at 42 and the Dart Goga Badadze at minimum salary, I don't really think they're the ones that we want to go and look at. On DraftKings, I love Dragic here. Absolutely love him at 44. Oladipo at 62 looks all right. Butler at 76. I like Bam at 74 as well. And that same 3,900 Justin Holiday option is in play for us. When you are at home and you want to get all of that food that you so crave delivered to your door, DoorDash is the way that you've got to go. You've counted on restaurants in the past to provide you with delicious meals, and now they're counting on you. And while their dining rooms may be closed, they're still open for delivery with DoorDash. DoorDash is the app that brings you food you're craving right now, right to your door. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash app, choose what you want to eat, and your food will be left safely outside your door with a new contactless delivery drop-off setting. With over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia, you can support your local go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Chipotle, Wendy's, and the Cheesecake Factory. Many of your favorite local restaurants are still open for delivery. Just open that DoorDash app, select your favorite local restaurant, and your food will be left at your door right now. Our listeners can get $5 off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's $5 off and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code LOCKEDONNBA. Don't forget, that's code LOCKEDONNBA for $5 off your first order with DoorDash. Next game up on the slate for us here is the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets. There is no Russell Westbrook playing. We know that. So we're going to get Eric Gordon and Daniel House as the starters most likely. House has been upgraded to probable. At point guard, Chris Paul's at 7,200. He's been putting up really strong numbers, and I like him significantly in this one. The other point guard we want to look at, or the other point guard that's available in this one, is Austin Rivers, and we don't really want to use him. Shooting guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 6,900.
Giggity!
Of course he is. I think that might be a margin too high for Shai. I'm not completely ruling it out, but I'm not totally into it. Well, Jimmy Harden at 11.5. You know Harden's going to go for close to 60, so I do like that. I'd probably take Giannis at 11,000 over Harden, but the upside of Harden is absolutely higher considering this game is probably going to be closer. Dennis Schroeder's back. He's at 5,700. That looks to be a good cash play, while McLemore, Robertson, and Terry Ferguson probably not going to get it done. The Italian cock, Danilo Gallinari.
Hands off my cock!
5,200. He has just been easing his way all through these seeding games, averaging 19 minutes over the last 5 games. I think there's a real chance for him to put up a big one. That salary's low enough to use him. I like it. Dan House, no thanks. Eric Gordon at 45. Perhaps. Well, Darius Bazley, amazingly, Bazley's salary is higher than Gallinari's. That is absolute recency bias. Now, Bazley's been playing great. 3 straight 20-point games, averaging 37 FanDuel points over the last 3, but I just don't think he's going to do that against the Rockets. So that 5,400 would be like setting cash on fire. Bob Covington's at $7,000. Not into that one. Jeff Green at 41.
My name is Jeff.
Green's been playing well. And with Westbrook out, they might use a little bit more Green. I think that is some cash value there for sure. At center, PJ Tucker at 3,700. He's doing as little as anyone could possibly do on the stat sheet, so no thank you. While Steve Adams at 5,400. Don't mind it, but I reckon he might have some problems against this Rockets lineup. So probably want to avoid these centers in this one. Over on DraftKings, Bob Cubs at 65. That probably works a little bit more in his favor, but I'm not totally on it. Gallinari at 61, still high, or higher than FanDuel, but it's not bad. Harden at 11.7 looks great. Chris Paul at 77 looks great. Schroeder at 61 looks okay, but I think the pricing in this one's a little bit tighter over on DraftKings than where it currently sits over on FanDuel. If you want pricing that is much more in your favor, go to rockauto.com. Why would you go to your local auto store to get parts for your car when you can just go straight to rockauto.com and browse their extensive online catalog? You go to the guy in the store, he's got to look up to order the parts anyway because he's not going to keep every part in store. It's almost impossible. Rockauto.com has that huge catalog, and you know what else they do? They don't charge different prices for professionals and do-it-yourselfers like those big chain auto retailers. Same price for everybody at rockauto.com. Best of all, the price at rockauto.com, they're always reliably low. So you can save 30, 50, 100% on that part that you may have got down at the shops. Everything from engine control modules and brake parts to tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Whether it's for your classic or daily driver, you get everything you need in a few easy clicks delivered directly to your door. And when you go to rockauto.com, this is really important, and see all those parts available for your car or truck, right, locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us box, so that they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Now let's go to the last game of the day. Actually, I didn't give you my take on that series between the Thunder and the Rockets. I think the Thunder are going to win it in 7. Westbrook's going to miss the first 2 to 3 games here. I think the Thunder are going to get this one in 7, and it's going to be the longest of all of the series in this first round. The last one is the Blazers and the Lakers, just straight off the bat. I think the Lakers are going to win this in 5. The Portland's defense is absolutely horrendous, and I think LA, while they've had their struggles, they should be able to take advantage of that. Contavious Caldwell-Pope is questionable for LA in this one. If he is out, that's more minutes for Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith, and probably the bald eagle, Alex Caruso at point guard. Dame Lillard's at 10,100, absolute smashing that. He is going to put up numbers. I'm not worried about that at all. Caruso's at 3,900. That's probably going to be a no from me. At shooting guard, Dan Green's at 39. You only want to use him in tournaments, and even then, he hasn't been very reliable. While Christian James McCollum at 7,400. He had 41 in the play-in game. At 7,400, I like him, but I'm not enamored. While 4,500 for Gary Trent.
Nice, Gary!
I think that's worth a look. He's going to get a shit ton of minutes. It all's going to come down to how hot he shoots, but I think there's an opportunity there for him. Caldwell-Pope, no thanks. At small forward, LeBron James. 10,300. He didn't really get it rolling in the bubble, but who the hell is stopping him on this Portland team? Why wouldn't he get 60 in this one? I like him a lot. If I had to put LeBron, Giannis, and Harden as those high-priced guys together, it probably is LeBron at number 1. Harden with the highest upside out of that group. You've got to spend an extra $1,000 or so. Melo's at 5,400. For cash, yes. For tournaments, no. Dion Waiters at 3,800. If we hear Caldwell-Pope's out, I think he can actually fit in to get some more high-priced guys in your lineup. We also know for the Blazers, Zach Collins is out. So that is going to open up some minutes. Does it mean Wenyen Gabriel? Does it mean Mario Hezonja? Does it mean that Trent starts and plays 40 minutes? That's absolutely what they should do. And I think that is what they do. But someone else is going to have to come into the rotation, and it's probably going to be Wenyen Gabriel. He's not going to be a DFS option, but he's a name to keep an eye on at least. Power forward Anthony Davis at $10,000. Do you reckon they just start him at center like they absolutely should have done all season? I think there's a chance of it. I like it. I think he's going to absolutely cook this team. At $10,000, he is massive. I prefer him over LeBron here, to be honest. And the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma at 6,300. If they do start Davis, then Kuzma at 61 is at least in play for tournaments. For the centers, you've got big use of Nurkic at 8,400. Not certain I want to use him in this one. I probably would fade off that, and I don't want to use Hassan Whiteside or Dwight Howard.
The world!
On FanDuel, LeBron's at 10.7, Davis at 10.4. They both look pretty good. Lillard at 11.4 is maybe pushing it a bit too far. I'd rather go back to LeBron and Davis there than take Lillard at that sort of a price. Melo at 58 looks all right as well, and Gaz Trent at 52 I think comes in looking okay. Guys, that'll do it. That is a preview for day 2 of the NBA playoffs. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how you think these series will go. Give me your predictions as well. Subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on YouTube. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.